There's a strange law of life that no one teaches you. You only discover it after years of feeling exhausted. The moment you stop trying so hard, life starts moving in your favor. When you release the tension inside you, the things you were chasing, peace, purpose, love, success, begin to find you on their own. It's not magic, it's not luck, it's energy. Because whatever you chase with fear, you actually push away, and whatever you release with trust, you silently attract. Buddhism calls this the freedom of non-attachment, the art of acting without clinging. So ask yourself, are you truly working toward your dreams, or are you suffocating them with overthinking and emotional pressure? That one question may change your life. In this video, I'll reveal why letting go is not giving up, but a higher form of spiritual power that aligns you with what's truly meant for you. Where every video helps you rise above overthinking, emotional chaos, and spiritual confusion. And stay until the end. There's a bonus truth about letting go that most people never hear, and it will shift the way you see everything. Let's begin. 1. When you chase, you create distance. The harder you run after peace, love, or success, the faster it slips away. Like trying to hold water by squeezing it tightly, the tighter you grip, the faster it escapes. You see, life was never meant to be hunted. It was meant to be lived. Every time you say, I must have this or I can't lose that, you build a wall between yourself and the flow of life. The Buddha taught that craving is the root of suffering, and chasing is just craving disguised as ambition. It looks noble from the outside, but within it is restlessness, fear, and resistance. Neediness is resistance. Resistance repels. Think about that. The energy of chasing is not attraction, it is rejection in motion. When your heart is restless, even what belongs to you feels distant. That's why sometimes the harder you try to keep someone, the faster they drift away. The more you strive to prove your worth, the emptier you feel inside. It's not because you're not enough. It's because you're running in circles, trying to catch what can only come when you stand still. Close your eyes for a moment. Unclench both fists. Feel the tension leave your body as you exhale slowly. That's what letting go feels like. Soft, spacious, alive. When you release the need to control, you make space for life to breathe through you. In that stillness, the right opportunities, people, and paths find their way to you. Not by force, but by flow. Letting go is not giving up. It's trusting that what's meant for you doesn't need to be chased, only welcomed. Ask yourself, what am I chasing that is secretly exhausting my soul? Am I acting from fear or trust? What would shift if I let go today? Every answer you find will guide you back to peace. Life responds to alignment, not desperation. The tree doesn't chase sunlight. It simply grows toward it. In the same way, your calm presence is your greatest magnet. When you stop running, you start receiving. Repeat softly to yourself, I release the need to control. I trust that what is right for me will stay. I choose peace over chasing. These are not just words. They are keys to freedom. Because life doesn't respond to those who chase. It reveals itself to those who are still enough to receive. We'd love to hear your thoughts. If you're not sure what to say, just type, My life flows naturally. Second, attachment is the root of inner conflict. You may not notice it at first. It begins as a gentle desire, something that seems harmless, even beautiful. But slowly, that desire hardens into attachment, and what once inspired you starts to control you. The Buddha said, pain enters through attachment and expectation. And how true that is. Every time you cling to how things should be, you create a quiet war within yourself. You want life to move according to your plan, But life has its own rhythm, its own sacred timing. A bird cannot fly if its feet are chained to a stone, and yet we are that bird, holding on to relationships that drain us, careers that suffocate us, or identities that no longer fit who we are. We call it love, passion, or duty, but often it's fear. The fear of being without what we've grown attached to. When we grip life too tightly, we forget that love was meant to flow, not to be owned. That success was meant to be expressed, not possessed. Close your eyes for a moment. Picture a bird being freed from a golden cage. The door opens, it hesitates, then lifts its wings and soars into the vast open sky. Feel that moment of release. That's what happens inside you when you let go of emotional chains. Freedom is not found in holding on, but in the courage to trust life beyond your attachments. Ask yourself, what am I emotionally attached to that's hurting me? Is my peace worth sacrificing for attachment? What am I afraid will happen if I let go? Every time you face these questions with honesty, you reclaim your power. The truth is, letting go doesn't mean losing. It means returning home to yourself. It means no longer needing the world to behave a certain way for you to feel whole. Repeat gently to yourself, I allow life to move naturally. I let go of emotional chains. I honor freedom within myself. These are words of awakening. Each one loosens the knots of the heart, because peace is not found in possession, but in presence. And when you stop clinging, life begins to flow again. Remember, freedom is not out there. It begins the moment you release what was never meant to stay. If I don't care, won't I lose everything? That's the fear that keeps many souls trapped, believing that detachment means disconnection, that peace means indifference. But the Buddha taught that true detachment is not coldness. It is freedom born from understanding. Detachment is love without fear. It means you can love fully, give deeply, and still remain whole within yourself. It is the art of caring without clinging, of being present without being possessed by outcomes. Think of a tree rooted in the earth. It doesn't chase the seasons or cling to the leaves it must one day lose. It stands steady, allowing wind, rain, and sunshine to come and go. Its power lies in stillness, not control. That is what detachment feels like, anchored yet open. You can face the storms of life without being uprooted by them. You can give your heart to the world and still return to your center. Close your eyes and imagine roots growing from your feet deep into the earth, anchoring your calm. Feel how unshakable that stillness is. The world may move above, but you remain grounded below. Detachment doesn't ask you to stop feeling. It asks you to stop fearing what you feel. It's the space where love breathes freely, where compassion flows without need, and where peace becomes your natural state of being. Ask yourself, do I confuse attachment with love? What would healthy detachment look like in my life? How can I act without clinging? Notice how often your actions are guided by the desire to control rather than to contribute. When you release control, love becomes lighter, and your mind becomes silent enough to hear truth whisper again. Detachment is not losing connection. It is rediscovering it in its purest form. Repeat softly to yourself, I care deeply, but I am not controlled by outcomes. I am rooted, peaceful, unshakable. I remain calm in uncertainty. These affirmations are reminders of strength that doesn't depend on conditions. You are like that tree, strong, centered, alive. You don't have to chase or hold too tightly. Simply stay rooted in presence, for life will always find its way to those who are steady enough to receive it. Detachment isn't distance. It's freedom wrapped in love. We'd love to hear your thoughts. If you're not sure what to say, just type, "My life flows naturally." 4. When you force, you block flow. Why does forcing life backfire? Because when you push too hard, you block the very current that's meant to carry you forward. The Buddha often spoke of the middle path, the way of balance, neither grasping nor resisting. The river reaches the ocean not by force, but by flow. And yet most of us spend our days struggling against the tide, demanding that life move faster, that dreams unfold sooner, that people change according to our will. But the more you push, the heavier your spirit becomes, because peace can never exist where resistance lives. Think of a flower blooming in spring. You cannot pull its petals open early. It would only break in your hands. Everything in existence has its own rhythm, its sacred timing. When you force life, you are telling the universe you do not trust its wisdom. But when you flow, you align with the intelligence that already knows where you are meant to go. Life is not something you control. It's something you cooperate with. Close your eyes and imagine yourself floating peacefully on a river. The current is gentle, steady, and sure. You don't need to swim against it. You only need to surrender to its movement. Every bend, every pause, every still moment has meaning. Even when the water slows, it is still guiding you. This is the essence of trust, to know that life's pauses are not punishments, but preparations. Ask yourself, where am I forcing outcomes? What if waiting is part of wisdom? What am I being prepared for? These reflections remind you that not everything delayed is denied. Sometimes the universe slows you down so you can meet yourself before you meet your dream. When you stop forcing, you create space for grace to move. You stop fighting the current and begin floating toward peace. Whisper gently to your heart, I move with life, not against it. I choose flow over force. I trust divine timing. Feel the calm in those words, the soft surrender that invites peace back in. Remember, the river doesn't chase the ocean. It simply flows, and the ocean finds it. In the same way, what's meant for you will always find its way when you stop forcing and start trusting. 5. Alignment beats effort. What attracts success effortlessly? The world often tells you to push harder, work longer, and fight for every inch. But have you noticed that when your heart is at peace, things fall into place almost naturally? When inner energy aligns, outer life follows. This is one of the quiet truths of Buddhist wisdom. It is not the force of your effort that creates results, but the purity of your alignment. When your inner state and your outer actions move in harmony, life begins to cooperate with you instead of resisting you. Imagine two magnets. They only connect when aligned correctly. Turn one slightly, and the same energy that attracts becomes repulsion. That's how life works. When your thoughts are filled with fear, but your words speak of confidence, you create inner conflict. When your desires are rooted in ego, but your actions pretend to be humble, you split your own energy. Alignment is honesty, living and acting from a place where your heart, mind, and soul all move in the same direction. Close your eyes and imagine a compass settling into true north. As it stills, your path becomes clear. Not because the world changed, but because you stopped spinning. That stillness is alignment. It's the quiet strength that says, I no longer chase what isn't for me. It's choosing peace over pressure, truth over pretense, and trust over control. The universe does not respond to how hard you try. It responds to how true you are. Ask yourself, am I aligned with my values? Does my energy match what I seek? What needs to change in me to attract better? If you seek peace while living in chaos, you must first calm the energy within. If you want love, you must become love. This is not philosophy, it's law. You cannot receive what you resist becoming. When you align your energy with what you desire, life recognizes you instantly. the right people appear, the right moments unfold, and the path ahead becomes effortless. Repeat softly to yourself, I align my actions with peace. My energy attracts what is meant for me. I choose purpose over pressure. Let these words guide your heart back to center. Alignment is not about doing more, it's about being more real. When you move from truth, effort becomes ease. Remember, the sun doesn't chase the sky. It simply rises, and the world follows. When you align with your purpose, life rises to meet you. 6. Release emotional baggage to receive. Why doesn't life give us more unless we release first? Because the universe cannot pour blessings into a cup that is already overflowing with yesterday's pain. An overflowing cup cannot receive. We hold on to old disappointments, past regrets, and unhealed emotions, hoping that somehow they'll protect us. But instead, they close us off from the very flow of abundance we're seeking. The truth is, the hands that cling cannot receive. You can't fill a closed hand. Only an open palm receives blessings. So many people pray for peace while still holding tight to what disturbs them. They want new beginnings while refusing to end old chapters. But life is a teacher. It cannot hand you the next lesson until you've released the one you're clinging to. The Buddha taught that all suffering is born from attachment, and letting go is the path to liberation. Emotional baggage is not just memory. It's energy that keeps you anchored to a past that no longer exists. Close your eyes and imagine setting down a heavy backpack you've carried for years. Feel how suddenly lighter your spirit becomes. That is the feeling of release, the quiet relief that comes when you stop fighting to hold on to what has already left. In that stillness, you create space for the new to enter, the right people, the right peace, the right path. They can only appear when you stop carrying what blocks their way. Ask yourself, what is weighing on my heart? What must I release to grow? What is no longer meant to come with me? Sometimes it's not life withholding blessings. It's you holding on to burdens. Every emotion you release returns as clarity. Every fear you surrender returns as strength. The moment you let go, life rushes in to fill the space with something lighter, truer, and meant for you. Whisper to yourself, I make space for better things. I choose emotional freedom. I let go of what no longer serves me. Let these words become your new rhythm. Life is not asking you to forget. It's asking you to make room, because freedom is not found in holding tighter, but in loosening your grip. Remember this truth. You can only receive when you are open, and when you finally let go of what weighs you down, you don't lose, you rise. We'd love to hear your thoughts. If you're not sure what to say, just type, "My life flows naturally." 7. Surrender is spiritual power. Why do we fear surrender when it is our greatest strength? The mind believes that surrender means defeat, that if we stop struggling, everything will collapse. But in truth, surrender is not weakness. It is wisdom. The Buddha taught that control is an illusion, that clinging to what we cannot change only multiplies suffering. Surrender is not quitting. It is trusting. It is saying to life, I no longer need to fight you. I trust where you are leading me. A boat's sail doesn't fight the wind, it uses it. When the wind changes, the sailor adjusts, not resists. In the same way, when you surrender to life's direction, you begin to move effortlessly with its current. You stop wasting energy rowing against the tide of what is, and instead glide with the rhythm of what can be. True power is not in controlling life, but in cooperating with it. When you trust the unseen, your strength turns inward. It becomes peace. Close your eyes and picture yourself in a tug-of-war with life. Your hands are gripping the rope, your body tense, your breath shallow. Now imagine releasing it, just letting it fall. The struggle ends instantly. That's surrender. The tension in your chest softens, the mind quiets, and what remains is space. Space for guidance, for grace, for healing. In that stillness, you realize life was never against you. It was only waiting for you to stop resisting. Ask yourself, what am I fighting that I should surrender? What if surrender brings freedom? What is life trying to show me? Often, what we call bad timing or obstacles are simply invitations to trust more deeply. When you let go of needing to control every detail, the universe begins to move things into place with a precision that no amount of force could ever achieve. Surrender turns chaos into order, not because the world changes, but because your perception does. Whisper softly to yourself, I surrender what I cannot control. I am guided by wisdom. I live in trust, not panic. These are not just words, they are pathways back to peace. Every moment you surrender, you align with the intelligence that governs all of life. The river doesn't fight to reach the ocean. It flows naturally toward it. You are no different. The more you trust the flow, the more you are carried toward your destiny. Remember this, surrender is not giving up. It is waking up to the truth that you were never in control, only always supported. How do you pursue your goals without emotional chaos? The world tells you to chase harder, to keep striving until you win. But in that constant grasping, peace quietly disappears. The Buddha's wisdom whispers a softer truth. Work, but don't cling. Effort is noble, but attachment to results is suffering. You can pour your heart into your purpose and still remain calm within yourself. It is not effort that exhausts the spirit. It is the obsession with outcomes that does. Imagine a warrior sharpening his sword. He prepares with focus, precision, and care. But when the moment of battle arrives, he breathes, trusts, and acts. His calmness is his strength. He does not panic about victory or defeat. He simply moves with presence. That is the essence of action without attachment. When you give your best and then release the rest, you are no longer bound by fear or doubt. You are free. Close your eyes for a moment. Visualize yourself placing your worries into a glowing bowl. Each fear, each what if, each expectation. Watch them dissolve into light, leaving your heart lighter, your mind clearer. This is what it feels like to act without attachment, to do what is yours to do, and let life take care of the rest. The Buddha said, "Do your duty with a mind that is still." It is a reminder that your responsibility is in the doing, not the result. Ask yourself, do I act from fear or purpose? Can I let go after giving my best? What outcome am I over-attached to? Notice how often your anxiety is not about the action itself, but about the story your mind tells afterward. When you detach from the story, you find peace in the present moment. Every action done in mindfulness becomes sacred, and when your actions come from clarity, the results, whatever they are, will always serve your highest good. Whisper gently to yourself, I give my best, then release the rest. I trust effort more than outcomes. I am not defined by results. Let these words become your anchor. True mastery is not found in controlling life, but in cooperating with it. When you act without attachment, your energy becomes pure, your direction clear, and your heart unburdened. You realize that success isn't something you chase. It's something that unfolds when your spirit is aligned. The most powerful people are not those who force life to obey them, but those who trust the quiet rhythm of cause and effect. Give your best, and then let the wind carry your efforts where they are meant to go. Why does inner stillness bring clarity and blessings? Because in silence, life finally has space to speak. The Buddha often reminded his disciples, when the mind is silent, truth is heard. Most people live surrounded by noise, not just the outer noise of the world, but the inner noise of thoughts, fears, and endless what-ifs. We think that by doing more, we'll find more. But wisdom blooms not from movement, but from stillness. When the mind quiets, the heart begins to whisper the answers we've been too restless to hear. Imagine muddy water after a storm. You can stir it endlessly, but it only becomes cloudier. Yet when you leave it undisturbed, it clears on its own. This is the power of inner stillness. You don't need to force understanding, healing, or direction. You only need to stop agitating the waters of your mind. The moment you pause, everything begins to settle, and the truth beneath the surface becomes visible again. Stillness doesn't mean inaction, it means presence. It's not the absence of movement, but the awakening of awareness. Close your eyes and imagine a quiet lake at dawn. The surface is perfectly still, reflecting the soft colors of the sky. In that moment, the lake doesn't chase the clouds. It simply mirrors what is. That lake is your mind when you return to stillness. When you let go of chasing, fixing, and forcing, you begin to reflect life's natural harmony. Every worry loses its hold, every fear softens, and in its place comes a deep, steady peace. Ask yourself, do I allow silence in my life? What truth am I avoiding? What would stillness show me right now? When you stop running from yourself, you see the answers were never outside. They were waiting in the quiet spaces of your own awareness. Stillness is not an escape. It's a return to the simplicity of being, where nothing needs to be fixed, only understood. Whisper softly within, I am calm, centered, and clear. Silence reveals my answers. Peace is my natural state. Let these words move through you like soft waves. Stillness is your strength. It restores, refreshes, and reconnects you with the present moment. From that calm center, life unfolds easily. You stop chasing clarity and begin living it. Because in silence, you don't lose yourself. You find the part of you that was always peaceful. Remember, muddy water clears when left still, and so does the human heart. When the mind rests, life shows its quiet blessings. 10. Acceptance changes reality. How does accepting life change it so quickly? We often resist what is, holding on to how we think life should be. And by doing this, we trap ourselves in endless struggle. The Buddha reminded us, what you accept moves. What you resist stays. Resistance is heavy. It ties the mind and heart to cycles of frustration and pain. Acceptance, on the other hand, is not giving in to weakness. It is the courage to face reality as it is, and to move ahead from that clarity. Think of a tightly tied rope. The harder you pull, the tighter it becomes. Only when you stop pulling, when you let it rest and loosen on its own, can the knot start to open. Life works the same way. The more we resist, the more tangled we feel. Acceptance is the act of letting go of the tension we've been carrying for no reason. It doesn't mean giving up on change. It means dealing with life from a grounded, calm, and clear place. Close your eyes and take a deep breath. Imagine breathing out slowly as your shoulders relax. Feel how the tension in your body and mind starts to fade. That is acceptance settling in, not as defeat, but as presence. You notice the situation, the emotions, the reality, and you allow yourself to respond wisely instead of reacting quickly. In this space, clarity appears. Choices that once seemed impossible become clear, and energy that was stuck in resistance starts to move again. Ask yourself, what have I been resisting in life? What is this moment trying to teach me? How would acceptance feel right now? Reflection helps you see that often, what we resist is not life itself, but our own expectations, fears, and illusions of control. Acceptance opens a door to freedom, allowing life to move with ease instead of against us. Whisper softly to your heart, "I accept what is," and work with it. "I am at peace with the present moment. From acceptance, I rise." Let these words settle deeply within you. Acceptance changes not just your view, but the reality you experience. By yielding to what is, you find strength, clarity, and peace. When you stop pulling against life, the knots loosen, the path clears, and you move with the natural flow of existence. Acceptance is not passivity. It is the art of being fully present, fully alive, and fully open to the blessings life always brings. We'd love to hear your thoughts. If you're not sure what to say, just type, "My life flows naturally." 11. Trust creates space for miracles. What happens when you stop fearing the unknown? Most of us hold on to certainty, measuring every step, planning every result, and fearing what we cannot see. Yet the greatest moments of growth, the deepest blessings, come exactly when we let go of that fear. The Buddha said, "When you trust, life expands." Trust is not blind optimism. It is a quiet knowing that the universe or life itself is not against you. It is the courage to step forward even when the path is unclear, believing that what is meant for you will find its way. Think of a seed buried deep in darkness. It knows nothing of the sun above, yet it trusts enough to break the soil, to reach upward, to grow. It does not resist the earth that covers it, nor does it demand instant light. It simply follows its nature, allowing life to guide it toward fulfillment. In the same way, your trust is the ground from which miracles grow. When you stop clinging to certainty, life begins to carry you toward experiences, people, and moments that were never open to a fearful heart. Close your eyes and imagine a door slowly opening in front of you. Beyond it lies a glowing path, soft light spreading along the way. You do not know every step, but you feel the invitation. That is trust, the willingness to walk forward without needing to control the journey. Every delay, every uncertainty, every moment of discomfort is not punishment, but preparation. Life is teaching you patience, strength, and faith in the unseen currents that carry you. Ask yourself, where do I need more trust? What if delays are divine protection? Who would I be without fear? Reflection helps you see that often what feels like risk is really a doorway. When you step through with trust, your energy aligns with possibility and opportunities appear naturally. Fear fades when it is replaced with quiet confidence, and your heart becomes open enough to receive what was always meant to come. Whisper softly to your spirit, "Life works for me, not against me. I trust the unseen path. I walk with quiet confidence." Let these words ground you in the stillness that comes before manifestation. Trust is not passive, it is active faith, a promise to move forward with awareness, courage, and peace. When you trust, life grows beyond the limits of fear. The unknown stops being a threat and becomes a canvas for miracles. The moment you release doubt, you make space for life to surprise you, guide you, and show the blessings that have been waiting all along. Bonus lesson. When you let go, life gives more. What unlocks destiny? Most of us spend our lives reaching, striving, and pushing toward what we think we need. Yet in all that effort, we often miss the simplest truth. When you let go, life gives more. The Buddha said, "Seek nothing, receive everything." Life does not answer grasping. It answers presence, openness, and the willingness to let what is meant for you come naturally. The tighter you hold, the less you feel. The softer you open, the more blessings flow. Think of butterflies in a garden. The more you chase them, the faster they fly away. But when you pause, sit quietly, and open your hands, they rest gently on your shoulders and stay with no effort. Life works the same way. When you stop chasing, controlling, and fearing, you create space for synchronicity, abundance, and grace. The universe responds to your calmness, not your desperation. The energy you send out returns as clarity, opportunities, and connections that were waiting for the right time to meet you. Close your eyes and imagine lifting your arms to the sky. Feel the gentle stream of blessings moving toward you. This is not fantasy. It reflects the law that guides life. Release is not loss. Release is alignment. Each time you let go of expectations, fear, or neediness, you create space for what was always meant to reach you. In surrender, miracles appear quietly. Ask yourself, what has life already tried to give me? How can I practice letting go each day? Am I ready to trust life? Reflection shows that abundance has always been around you, but tight holding kept you from receiving it. Letting go is a daily habit, a choice to let life flow instead of controlling its path. It is a discipline of the heart as much as the mind, asking for faith, patience, and quiet courage. Whisper softly to yourself, everything meant for me comes to me. I am aligned with abundance. I am ready to receive. Let these words rest within you. The more you practice letting go, the lighter your spirit becomes, and the more easily life responds. Stop chasing, start trusting, open your heart. Release the need to force and watch as life, in its wisdom, delivers exactly what you need, often beyond what your mind could imagine. When you stop holding on, you make space to receive everything. Quick summary of the principles. When you chase, you create distance. When you chase from fear or desperation, you give away your power. This builds emotional pressure that pushes opportunities and people away. Real alignment does not come from chasing, it comes from inner peace. You attract more by being centered, not restless. Attachment is the root of inner conflict. When desire turns into emotional dependence, the mind begins to suffer. Attachment creates fear, fear of loss, fear of being alone, fear of not being enough. True freedom begins when we engage deeply with life, but do not cling to certain results. Letting go of attachment is emotional freedom. Detachment is not disconnection. Detachment does not mean you stop caring. It means you stop suffering over what you cannot control. You love, work, and give fully without losing your inner balance. Detachment is mature emotional wisdom. When you force, you block the flow. Forcing outcomes only creates resistance and delay. Life has a natural rhythm, and impatience disturbs it. When you learn to act with intention while staying calm, life begins to align in surprising ways. Force weakens, flow empowers, effort. Hard work matters, but if your energy, mindset, and actions are not aligned, your efforts feel empty. Success is not only physical action, it is energetic clarity. When your actions match your values and your peace, results come with less struggle. Release emotional baggage to receive. You cannot welcome new blessings while carrying weight from the past. Pain, regret, and resentment block progress. When you release what no longer helps your growth, you make space for better opportunities. Healing is receiving. Surrender is spiritual strength. Surrender is not giving up, it is trusting life's wisdom. When you release control over what is beyond you, you gain inner clarity and strength. Surrender reduces anxiety and opens doors you could not see before. Letting go is how you regain power. Action without attachment. Work for your goals, but do not suffer for them. Do your best, yet stay emotionally free from outcomes. When you stop tying your worth to results, You stay confident, strong, and peaceful no matter what happens. 9. The power of inner stillness. Most people need less noise, not more answers. Mental noise blocks intuition. Stillness creates clarity. When your mind is calm, you make wiser choices and feel deeper peace. Silence solves what overthinking cannot. Acceptance changes reality. Acceptance does not mean you agree with everything. It means you stop fighting what already is. Resistance brings pain, but acceptance brings progress. When you accept reality, you can finally work with it instead of against it. Trust makes room for miracles. Fear closes doors. Trust opens them. Trusting life means seeing that delays have meaning and redirections bring protection. Life answers a calm heart. When you trust, you move forward without fear, and life supports you in unexpected ways. When you let go, life gives more. Letting go does not reduce what you receive, it expands it. When you release worry and control, you enter a spiritual flow. Life begins to send the right people, opportunities and blessings. Letting go is not the end. It is the start of what is real. There comes a moment when the soul grows tired, not of life, but of struggle. We realize stress was never a sign of ambition, and inner conflict was never the price of success. Peace does not arrive when life becomes perfect. It arrives when the heart stops clinging. The day you stop chasing is the day you begin receiving. Not because life changes, but because you do. You become open, clear, and ready. You discover that surrender is not weakness. It is the highest strength. As Zen teaching reminds us, in stillness, the right path shows itself. When we release what we cannot control, we return to truth. We return to ourselves. And in that moment, life begins to move in our favor. So do not ask, when will life give me what I want? Ask instead, what must I let go of so I can become who I truly am? Your real task in this life is to align, trust, and allow. If this message touched your heart, remember, like this video, share it with someone who needs peace today, and share your thoughts in the comments. For Buddhist insights on inner peace, detachment, and spiritual growth. Your journey has already begun. Walk it with awareness.